Hi everyone, welcome to Life Well Loved. I'm Penny. We are still out of town at our friend's house and we are just really enjoying their friendship. It's been a beautiful opportunity for us to just reconnect and to get to know each other a little bit more. One of the things that my friends do, which I thought was really interesting and really is kind of a luxury item, is they have a reverse osmosis machine that they use to provide additional purification of the water that they drink and they use, which I think is really cool. I asked him to do a little bit of a demo on it because I thought it might be something that you're interested in. Again, this is something that I think is certainly a luxury in life, to be able to have a system like this, to be able to purify impurities out of your drinking water and ultimately, hopefully, have better health. He is a chiropractor and she works out of his office. So he is always, thinking about a holistic approach to life and offering healthy advice. So I thought that you might enjoy this type of video, and just to get an understanding on, what do people do when they have the ability to make better lifestyle options in order to be able to live a healthier life. So I hope you enjoy this.
All right. Just in order to see the front, this is the Blue Vua reverse osmosis machine. It will allow you to take tap water or any water source and then utilize these 4 filters in order to get purified water in a very simple manner. All it's going to require is for you to fill the water reservoir, which is right back here. And you can easily pop it out to get your water, pop it back in. There's a max level if you want to do a full 1.5 liters. The carafe sits here and easily pops in and out. And at that point, all you have to do is turn it on in the back. And once it pops up, it will register and it will give you and show you the amount of filter life. 4 bars is telling us that the filters are still fully functional. And up here, it will tell you the amount of impurities that exist in the water source that you're using, and then the water source in the carafe at the level of impurities. It just requires a simple touch of the button, and it does all the work for you. Within about 5 or 10 minutes, the carafe will be full, and you're ready to use your water. So for people who are looking for a great source of water in terms of reverse osmosis, instead of having the expense of having to get water source done under the sink or even at the house, this is a great affordable standalone unit that will provide you that option if you don't want the expense and the hassle of having to do it otherwise. We now have the reservoir filled to the maximum line, pops in easily. I put the top back on. Then at that point, all we have to do is hit the button. Now you may hear that sound, and it's prior to creating the water. Sometimes the machine will have to set, and it's a normal part of the process. So it may take about 15 seconds of that gurgling sound before you hear the water go in. And it may do that before or even after the water has been processed. And there we go.
And so, when will we get a new read on the dash of it?
It'll start once the process begins, and then we'll get our final read at the very end of the process when the carafe has been fully filled.
Okay.
So already we're starting to see the level of impurities going for the water source that we use from the tap of the sink, and we're starting to see the impurities that are ending after it's gone through the 4 filters.
So the current impurities are
72. The water source is 72. The impurities of the water going into the carafe are presently at 3. Anything below 200 is very good. So the water source is not very dirty, but it's so much better at this point in time.
And what type of impurities is it filtering out? Like just micro impurities from plastics?
Sure.
And
Micro impurities, the impurities from the chemical reactions of them trying to purify the water at the water sewage plants. Unfortunately, there's lots of microparticles that can work their way through, which some may say are not very harmful, but cumulatively, it would be nice to get them filtered out of the water for overall health benefits.
So this is a great replacement for plastic water bottle usage.
Sure. If your concern is the plastics itself, or your concern is putting that plastic into the refill areas and back into the earth, this is a great way. And then you can use glass bottles and keep it much more ecological.
Okay. And that's what you use, glass bottles?
We use glass bottles that keep the water nice and cold, and we could just reuse them as often as we want.
Yeah, because I love drinking out of glass bottles. I feel like it makes a difference.
It does. It absolutely does. Plastic it just can't, that's not going to replace that. I understand that it just takes a little bit more work, but at the same time, ultimately it becomes convenient and simple, and it just becomes a habit, and it's not really that challenging. And you could set it and forget it and move on and do other things, and then when you have the time, you come back and the water's ready for you.
So it's a pretty quick process because this is filling up quickly.
It'll fill up quickly, and it's an auto shut off, so you don't have to worry about watching it and supervising it.
Okay. So it's coming from the reservoir, processing through those filters, and then emptying into this craft here.
Yeah, as simple as can be. Right now, the level of impurities of the water source is only at 96, but we're staying pretty steady at 3 with the water going into the craft.
And do you find that it really does make a difference on the taste?
I think the argument always is this psychological or not. But to me, I definitely feel like there is a taste difference for sure. But I'm sure that's going to be an individual thing. At least if it doesn't taste different, at least you know you're putting healthier stuff in your body.
Right. And I think I've always read that when you have like these little micro toxins that you ingest, they cause like neurological problems as well as probably digestive problems and potentially even more serious problems, wouldn't you say?
I would believe so. Unfortunately, I'm not sure how much research is being done, because I'm not sure, sometimes research is usually driven by money, and unfortunately I don't know if that's a profit maker, but I think anybody would like to know more. But I don't see how purity couldn't be something we want to strive for if we can accomplish it, again, in a fairly affordable manner.
Yeah, that's true. It's like it's not hurting anything by reprocessing your own water and removing the remaining impurities from the water treatment plants.
And I think
it could only help.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think some of these others concerns would be, when we're done, we're going to have water left over. Isn't that wasteful? Use the water for other purposes. We water plants. We use that water. Even though there's impurities, it could certainly be used in many manners other than ingestion. So you can, do whatever with it. And I collect it in a separate container and use that water when needed. And that way nothing goes to waste.
So the amount of water that goes in the craft is not the same amount of water that comes into the amount of water that goes into the reservoir is not the same amount of water that gets transported to the craft.
No, there's always going to be leftover water, and that's purposely to keep all the particles, all the impurities have to go somewhere. So in that particular case, this is the purified water, this is the impure water, and that's what I use for other purposes.
So the impurities go back into the reservoir.
Yep, they stay right there.
Okay, well that makes sense.
And you can see now that it's still cycling. The water's done, but it's still going through its cycle to kind of work completely through the process. And you could still take it out at this point. It's not going to cause a problem, but there's nothing wrong. That's how the machine works.
Okay. So the ultimate impurity percentage was 116,
116 from the sink.
but you said up to 200 is safe.
Yeah, it's still very good water.
Yeah, but you've been able to reduce it all the way down to 3.
To 3, which is
Wow.
much better water.
And the brand is
Blue Vua.
Blue Vua.
And it's called a pot, which is, I
Okay.
guess, a cute name for reverse osmosis pot.
Okay. And then, so then the craft gets transported into glass bottles, and the remaining reservoir water you dump into just
I have a separate
house
container.
plants.
Yep, I have a separate container that I'll use it and store that water. And then this could be used for your water bottles, it could be used for your coffee maker, it could be used for any purposes of cooking, whatever you want to use purified water for.
Okay. And we have a glass water bottle over here.
Mm-hmm.
And so, oh, nice and simple.
Nothing more.
Easy as that.
There you go.
You just cap it off, put it in the refrigerator, and then it's ready for whatever. Whether it's
All set?
drinking water or using it for vegetables,
Correct.
et cetera, et cetera. Fabulous. All right. Well, thanks for that tutorial, and thanks for giving me more information. I'm fascinated with this new kitchen appliance, and I think it's going to go on my Christmas list, honestly. Cool. Thanks.